So you're trying to build apps with AI, but you keep running into infinite AI loops. You try and add a new feature and you're hit with something like this. And your solution is to copy this bug, paste it in the chat, and just simply ask the AI to please fix that bug. The issue is every time you send a message, you're burning through your AI credits. And to get your app built, it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars per month. Now, the reason this happens is because you don't understand the code and how to put the app together. But what if there was a way that we could actually plan the build before we got started? And this is what I like to call vibe planning, where we design the app, the features, and exactly how they work, and we let an AI create detailed prompts on how to build the feature for us. And that's what this video is about. I want to walk you through and explain exactly what CodeSpring is and how it can help you. And in the most short version, essentially you create detailed mind maps like this, planning out your entire build in a way that you can visually understand, and the tech behind this will figure out how to build your app. So no matter what app we're building, we just get a load of documents that show us exactly how to build it. So instead of having to write 50 or 100 prompts to build us a feature, we can just use these documents here. So for this tutorial, we're going to get started with a completely fresh build. We are going to build a link tree clone. So how would we build something like this? Well, first of all, we need to understand how this whole project goes together. It's not enough to just go to the AI and say, build me a link tree clone, because there's a lot that we're going to be missing from that prompt. When we first create our CodeSpring account, the link is down below, you'll be greeted with a screen that looks like this or something similar. The first thing we need to do is create our project, and we would do this in the same way that we would plan in any other builder. We're just going to go in and describe the project that we're building. So in this case, it's going to be something called Linktree. Now, once we've planned out the app we're building, we're going to need to list out the key features. For example, we need an admin area where we can actually add and manage our links. That would be this area here. We need a link management area. That is this section here where we have all of the different links, and we can reorder them for our link tree. We also want a theme customizer. That would be this area here where we can change things like button color or even button radius if we wanted to. Obviously, we need a live preview to see what it is that we're building, and we need a public page that we can just add to our profile to share with our followers. So all we're doing here is we're really just describing the app that we're building and giving it a bit of a guidance on what we're trying to build. Now, it's really simple from this next step. All we need to do is click on a starter template. Now, I recommend if you're a complete beginner, you use the CodeSpring starter template. It's got those user accounts set up, it's got payments set up, it's got a database already integrated, and a ready to go app. Everything that you see here was built using the CodeSpring starter templates. It will have a website built for you like this, with really nice UI and animations. And more importantly, payments are already set up and integrated for you, so you can start charging as soon as you build your app. So we're just going to click on Generate with AI. And what CodeSpring is going to do is it's going to take our idea and it's going to mind map out and plan out how to build that app. But crucially, here's one thing that everyone misses. When you're building with AI, a lot of the time, the reason you run into bugs is because there isn't an existing code base. It's because you are telling the AI to build you features, but every time you send a new message, the AI is kind of like a new employee without any additional training. It doesn't really understand where to put things or how to structure your app. But as soon as you have an existing code base, you have files that are already created for things like databases that make it really, really easy for the AI to figure out how to piece your app together. When you then couple that with a plan generated from CodeSpring, it makes it so much quicker to build. Now, this is what you're going to be greeted with when CodeSpring is done compiling. So this is the CodeSpring mind map. So this central bit here is essentially just the idea. This is the brain, and this basically is the app that we're trying to build. And everything stems from this, okay? If we don't have this central node, we're not able to build our app. And that is why you can see here we have the CodeSpring boilerplate. Now, if you don't know what a boilerplate is, essentially it's just a template. It's got the user accounts already written for you. It's got payments already integrated. It's got database set up. Because if you're building an app, those things should already be coded. Those things should work 100% of the time. They should not be full of security holes, and they should definitely not be vibe coded. So if you clone this, you can go ahead and start building your features on top of it. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But basically, this is where everything starts and stems from. Then we move over to here, and we have these secondary nodes. We have one for features. We have one for tech stack. We have one for competitors. So it's already done competitor research. And we've got some stuff on target audience. And basically, this is the secondary phase of any app build. We need to know, obviously, which features that we're building. And you'll remember from the plan earlier, from that input, we had an admin area, a link management area, a theme customizer, a live preview, and a public preview page. Okay, these are each of the individual features. And if we were to come into our Linktree app and actually work through this, the admin area is everything that you see here. We have the link management area, and everything that we do will be affected directly in the live preview. We have a theme customizer. We also have a public page that we can go ahead and visit and see what this would look like if we share it with our followers. So essentially what we've got here is a breakdown of all the features for our app. Okay, so essentially what we're doing here is everything that you see here is an app. We are creating a mind map for our entire app build, okay? And these are different projects. If we come back to our dashboard, you can build as many projects as you want. So if I were to go into the CV Analyzer projects, you can see we have the same thing. We have a mind map, but for a different app. Okay, so if we actually have a look at this CV Analyzer, we have the ability to upload a CV. It will then take that CV, save it to the database. It will also extract the text from that CV and send that off to OpenAI, so it will give us an analysis on that CV so we can see how good or bad it is, plus an overall score of 4 out of 10, for example. This one's got a 5 out of 10. So this is a very little basic app that will analyze CVs. And again, if we come into CodeSpring, we have the same thing. We have our central node, which describes the app or the project that we're building. And it's the same thing. If we look at the list of features here, we have the ability to upload a PDF, the upload PDF area. Let's come into our app and see what we created. Upload your CV. Okay, this is the upload PDF area, right? Then we have extract text via OCR. This is a back-end functionality. And this is where things get a little bit more complicated, because if we're trying to build features, and I recommend you use something like Cursor, but if we're trying to build features, then a lot of the time people get stuck on setting up the back end, okay? Now here, we know if we upload a PDF to our app, we need to take the text from that PDF to send to OpenAI, right? CodeSpring's figured that out and said, okay, well, this is a specific feature we need to build. We need to send it to OpenAI. We receive the analysis and we show it on the front end. And also, we get a score for that CV. You can see here, we get an overview score. If we select one of our CVs, an overview score. And by the way, this is already integrated with the database. You can see if I refresh this page, this data here is always going to be loaded. This isn't fake data. This is already set up on a database, okay? And all of that is because we have the CodeSpring boilerplate with databases already set up. Now, let's have a look at the tech stack, because the tech stack is another thing that people always get stuck on. Let's say we're trying to build a feature, okay? Let's say we are trying to build the ability to upload and analyze a CV. Well, if we're going to upload a CV and we're going to get AI to analyze it, the AI needs to be able to scan that CV, okay? In other words, we can't just send the PDF directly to the AI. There needs to be an interim step there. And that interim step is going to be extracting the text from the PDF in order to get our overall score or our summary, okay? And these things here are going to figure out how to do it. Okay, so you can see here, we've created something called OCR Space API. Okay, well, CodeSpring has figured this out for us, which is a third-party API for extracting text from PDFs. And basically what that means is, instead of us having to figure out the tech that's needed or the APIs that are needed in order to build our app, CodeSpring will already figure this out for us. Now, if we're going to get our CV, right, we have our CVs here. Now we want to go ahead and we've extracted the text. We want to go ahead and analyze it. If we're going to analyze it, where do we send it? Well, probably OpenAI. CodeSpring again has figured out that we're going to use OpenAI to send the text to OpenAI for analysis, okay? And now we've got other things like databases. We've got Supabase for databases. We've got some other bits and pieces, but everything else that you see here has been created or designed because of the CodeSpring boilerplate. Now, if you're a complete beginner, you don't need to spend too much time worrying about the tech stack or anything like that. All you really need to do is understand that most of this tech has already been created for you. User accounts have already been set up, okay? And this is just basically a place for you to design the tech. So let's say we want to add some new tech, we wanted to build a new feature. You could go ahead and design and add in your own bits of tech. But this is mostly for a little bit more advanced stuff, but it's a way of you visualizing and seeing what tech is actually being used in order to get your app built. And we're building up a knowledge base. So now we've got our rough plan. How do we actually go ahead and take this and build our app? Well, you can see coming out of each of these features, we have these things here, okay? And these are places for us to store additional context for each feature, okay? We've got this one, which is for this feature here, for the admin area. We've got this one, which is for theme customizer. We've got this one for live preview and this one for public page. So each feature that we have has one of these. Now, what are these? Okay, well, let's just move this up here and let's just expand this out. We have detailed notes on what that feature is, okay? So when you're building your app, typically what you would do is you'd come into here and you'd say, build me the admin area, okay? And then what you would need to do is you would need to describe what the admin area is, what it does, how it works, how it integrates with the rest of the app, plus provide additional context for the rest of the app. What CodeSpring has done is it's taken that idea and it's already planned it out for us. So it's given us here, the admin area is a secure dashboard where users can manage aspects of their Linktree instance, right? It's given us a user journey and workflow on roughly how we think that should work, okay? And then it's thought about technical implementation, interactions, and it's just given us a plan on how and what that feature is and how we would build it. Now, this is a really good opportunity to spend some time actually planning out and writing out more details, okay? So you can actually type in here and you can take as many notes as you possibly want. We can then save this project and those notes will then be stored for this project. So if we come back in the future, we can just continue planning over time. Now, what we can also do is add additional context, okay? So we can actually create a new one of these and we can add more notes here if we wanted to. So we can actually just build up as much context for this specific feature. Because remember, everything here is linked to this, which is linked to this specific feature, the admin area, okay? So it's a very visual way of us planning out how to build each individual feature. Now let's just assume for a second that we have all the context that we need for each of the features, and you can see it's done this for literally every one of our features. It's given us an overview and a purpose on how all of the features can work. Okay, so CodeSpring will basically do the first opening stages for you, and then you can go in and you can spend a little bit more time planning it out if you want to. So I see a lot of people opening these up when they're using CodeSpring and they just sort of organize their feed, but they don't really know what to do from here. Well, first thing, obviously, if you create a plan like this, make sure you're always saving and keeping your project saved and up to date. Now, what do we do from here? How do we take this and actually build our app? There's no point copying this, coming into Cursor and saying, build me this admin area and pasting this in here. Now, this is kind of going to help you because this is all the stuff that you would have to write anyway to explain what the admin area does. But the problem is when we write a prompt like this, the AI doesn't really know how it's going to build it. It doesn't really know much about the tech that's needed to build this feature. Okay, so what we can actually do is we can come into this and we can actually click this little plus button and we have all these different tools. So I showed you earlier that we can create a new text node, okay? This here is a to-do node, okay? We can actually click a generate PRD button as well. And what this is going to do is click and it's going to create us this little purple box here. Essentially, imagine taking a very basic prompt on what it is that you want to build and packing that full of succinct information on how to build it, okay? It's just going to describe file structure, it's going to describe what files need to be created, an overview of that feature you're trying to build, and technical information on how to actually build it. All of this stuff here has been created for us in one click. So you can see here, there's more detail about how we want to go ahead and use the admin area. I want to log in so I can securely access the admin area. So it knows it's going to build it inside a login page. Each link entry shows the title, URL, and options for editing and deleting. Now, if we go back to the Linktree app that we built before, you can see here, it's CodeSpring's figuring out all of the different features and how they should work for us. So for example, I want to be able to view all of my links so I can manage them. Well, I can view all of them here, right? I want to be able to change title, URL, and options for editing and deleting. Well, we can actually see the title and the URL when we create a new link, title and URL. We can turn it on or off. We can edit it. Or we can even delete it if we don't want it, okay? Now, obviously, right now, what we've got here is just a plan. We haven't actually built anything yet. Now, what I'm showing you here is an app that I've already pre-built because it makes it easier to describe how this works. CodeSpring isn't designed to write the code for you. It's designed to help you plan everything out because each individual step, the more context that you add with details on how to build things and the more technical information that you add for each step, the better your results are going to be. It's planned out things like databases, functionality, and features. All we need to do now for all of the features that we're building is just click on this generate product requirement doc. And again, it's going to generate, I'm just going to collapse these. It's going to generate a requirement doc for each individual feature that we're building. So we got one there, and we're going to generate a requirement doc for this feature as well. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're creating detailed documentation on how to build the admin area, okay, which is this whole thing here. We're also creating the link management feature, okay, which is going to be specifics about this specific feature here on how to add or remove or edit links. We're creating one for the theme customizer, okay, which will end up being this feature here if we were to build this app, okay. We're creating documentation for the live preview, which would be this feature here, so we can actually see how this works. So you can see just how quickly we're actually iterating here. We've got one for the public page, which would be this feature here, so we can actually create a shareable link. So essentially, instead of us having to write out all of this stuff ourselves, CodeSpring is planning it all out for us. And this is why CodeSpring is so useful, because it is a planning tool. It is a tool that is designed to make building so much quicker and so much easier. Now, what we've got here is essentially our initial idea for a Linktree app. We've got the core features. This is all we wrote down initially. And then the AI figured out the rest of it. It figured out for each feature how we should build it and what that app should do. And then it just went through and it created all the context that it needed and created us the documentation for each individual feature. So we know here, each document, if we zoom in, has got all the information it needs on how to build that feature. It's got the tech stack, okay? And the tech stack has been taken from this thing here. Okay, and then if we zoom in a little bit more, you can see we've also got the training notes. So it's created this plan here based on the notes that we've taken here. So we know there's no contamination. We know that this is going to be specific to this admin feature here, which we've planned out inside everything here. So all of the stuff we create in here is specific to that feature. There is no cross-contamination, which means we essentially get highly specific blueprints for the app that we're building for each individual feature. Now, always remember, again, once you've created these requirement docs, remember to go ahead and save them. Otherwise, when we refresh our page, they're not going to be there for us. So now we've got all the requirement docs. What do we do? Well, actually, what we can do is simply either copy them, come back to our app and say, build me this, and paste it in like that. Alternatively, what I like to do is create a CodeSpring folder in my app. Okay, so all I do here is, and this app, by the way, remember, is this boilerplate. And if you're worried about how to actually use this boilerplate, we actually have a whole load of courses as well. So you can go ahead and watch these courses and it'll teach you more about how to use CodeSpring and how to get everything set up. But all we need to do now is simply download this, okay? And we can do this for each one of our requirement docs. I'm just going to do it for those two. We drag that directly into our app. Now we could just paste it here if we wanted to, and we have this file like this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create this CodeSpring document, the CodeSpring folder here, and all I do to do that is create this little folder, and I did CodeSpring, give it a name, okay? And then I just take those files that I downloaded and I just dump them into there, okay? And you can do this all at once if you want to, but there we go. Now we've got the documentation. So what we need to do now is when we're using cursor is say, build me this app, and then tag the PRD admin area, okay? And that is going to be this document here, which essentially means, we have created this mind map build. If we just really zoom out here, all of this design, okay, is context and information that we have planned out inside CodeSpring that is, let's face it, a lot easier to visualize and understand. We know that this is going to describe how this specific feature here works. And it's just now inside our project. So we can give the AI the context. So that basically means it's really, really quick and easy to build. And all we need to do is send that through and the AI will go ahead and figure out how to build it for us. And that is essentially what CodeSpring is. It is a tool for vibe planning. It allows you to build apps rapidly. It gives you everything that you need to build your app. Every single project that you build is for a specific app. So if you're building something, you would continue to build it up like this. Then you can create these documents on how to actually build it. You can keep things clean. Let's just zoom this back in again. So what happens now? Okay, well, let's say we've gone ahead and we have built out our Linktree app and we're happy to build it. We're all good. Now we want to go ahead and deploy it. Well, inside our CodeSpring account, if we come to the course section, we have loads of different courses to show you how to do this. I recommend you go ahead and watch module 4, but it's going to show you, if you come to this video here, how to actually deploy your app so you can send it out to your friends and family and get people to use it. So CodeSpring gives you everything that you need to help you build apps scalably and profitably without bugs. And this basically means we're not going to be running into infinite loops. If there are any errors, we have all the documentation on how to build it. Now, let's say we've built our app. We've launched it. We want to go ahead and continue building and adding new features. Well, if we just click this button here, we can just collapse everything. And let's just move all of these things out of the way. Now, we want to go ahead and build a new feature. Well, we can just come into here, into our project, click on Add Card, and we're just going to call this new, whatever our new feature is, okay? And we just write whatever it is we want for that feature. We can then click on it, and it's going to give us this thing here. So we can now start adding additional features, okay? So we can click on this, and we can add some text. Let's just open this up, and now we can start to plan and describe our new feature. Okay, we can then save this, and over time, essentially what you're doing is you're building up a visual knowledge base or a visual brain for how to plan your app. And then once you've got that, once you've planned out that feature, just simply click on Generate Product Requirement Doc. I'll fix this bug, by the way. And then it's going to create us a requirement doc on how to build that new feature. We would drag this new feature into our folder here, and now we would say, build me this new feature. Okay, so what we can do over time is we can just spend loads of time planning out and building this app. We can really spend time figuring out what it is we want to build, seeing how it kind of goes together, and then we just click one button and let the AI figure it out. Because I think this is much easier for you guys to understand how to build with than looking at something like this. Now, we are actually building an integration directly with Cursor, which will allow all of these documents to be integrated directly in here. And we have a progress board here. You can use this as a front end on top of Cursor in the future. Now, there's loads of other little features and tips and tricks inside CodeSpring, which I'll let you figure out. Go ahead, click the link down below in the description, create your account. Once you log in, create your first project. It will open up a mind map like this, and then you want to go ahead and generate your requirement docs and give it directly to the AI to start building. If you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments.